Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a matinee matchup between two very hot teams right now in the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. The Edmonton Oilers are 8-2-0 in their last 10 games. And one of the Oilers' only losses in their last 10 actually came to the Las Vegas Golden Knights about a week and a half ago. They lost 1-0 in Vegas in a game where I feel like most Oilers fans and the players agreed that maybe Edmonton deserved to win that one, but you don't always win the games that you deserve. And Adin Hill is just as much as part of the team in Vegas as everyone else. They got one goal, and then Adin Hill locked it down. In fact, in Adin Hill's last 10 games against Edmonton, he has a 6-2-1 record, a .925 save percentage, and a 2.4 goals against average. Adin Hill has done very well against the Edmonton Oilers in his career, and that includes the playoffs as well. So the Edmonton Oilers, they're going to have to find a way to get some goals tonight, and they're going to have to try and find a way to limit the Vegas Golden Knights from getting their high-danger looks as well. Vegas is very opportunistic. Once we take a look at the stats and more of the advanced stats as well, you'll see that Vegas, they're not going to outpossess you with the puck throughout a game, but they are able to put the puck in the net. They have a lot of dangerous shooters on that team, and they are opportunistic. The way they move the puck and where and when they choose to shoot the puck is very instrumental in their success. And a lot of times the advanced stats don't take a lot of that stuff into consideration properly. So it's always good to have an idea of how a team plays. Just because their overall 5-on-5 possession metrics are not strong does not mean that they are a bad team. On the contrary, sometimes these teams are very, very good, and all they need is a couple big opportunities during a game. They'll just open up the defense, they'll find someone in the slot, and they'll put the puck in. And it's also a personnel thing and a coaching thing. Bruce Cassidy coached teams are very stingy. They're very hard to play against. And as we've all seen as Oilers fans and Vegas fans as well, these two teams, they play playoff-like games against each other. That 1-0 loss that Edmonton suffered to Vegas a week and a half ago, that was a playoff-like game. There was no space out there. That neutral zone was completely clogged for both sides. Defensively, neither team really got any good looks. The only goal that was scored in the whole game was a 2-on-1 rush. Bouchard blocked the initial pass across, and then the puck came back to the Golden Knight player, and then they put it in Skinner's 5-hole. I think it was Stuart Skinner, who, by the way, has played amazing hockey lately. Same with Calvin Pickard. So if you end up enjoying this pregame report, make sure to smash the like button. And if you really like it, make sure to hit subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow a terrific community. We are nearing 4,200 subscribers, which is just mind-blowing to me. So thank you all for your continued support. Let's get into the projected lineup, and then we'll talk about the stats and my own predictions for this game. Make sure to let me know your players to watch, whether it's for Vegas or Edmonton, and also let me know your score prediction in the comments section below. I love reading everyone's comments. I try and interact with as many as I can, so I appreciate that. Now, projected lineup, you'll see a little note in the bottom left corner of the screen. Bouchard injured versus Minnesota. The Oilers called up Josh Brown from Bakersfield. Bouchard yesterday they said that he's about 50-50 for today's game. Don't know if he gets into the lineup. If he's 50-50, I imagine he's not playing, and I would imagine Josh Brown is going to be in. However, maybe they'll go 11-7. Maybe they'll sit someone like Derek Ryan. But again, that doesn't seem like something Knobloch usually does. Whatever the official lineup ends up being, the Oilers mainstream media, once that lineup card is submitted, they will post it, of course, to social media. So make sure you're following Tony Brar, Bob Stauffer, those sorts of people. Projected lineup here for the Oilers: Nugent Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. That line has been playing much, much better. Nugent Hopkins is producing much, much more as of late, and that's a really good sign for the team, not only at 5-on-5, but also on the power play. Nugent Hopkins' game looks like it's starting to turn around after a really, really poor start to the season. But that's the whole team. The whole team has completely turned this ship around. They are 11-3-1 in their last 15 games, and everyone has had a role in getting the Oilers record to that point. So everyone has found a way to contribute and find some success, and that's a real good sign for the team. Second line, Podkolzin with Draisaitl and Kapanen. Now, Kapanen scored the other night against Minnesota. Nice pass by Draisaitl. Draisaitl, of course, had 4 points against the Minnesota Wild. He has been absolutely red hot, and I did a video on Leon Draisaitl yesterday. If you missed it, you can check it out. I'll leave the link to it in the description of this video. And then Vasily Podkolzin continues to be an absolute workhorse. He just never stops moving his feet, and the Oilers are finding success whenever he's on the ice. He actually leads the team in expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5 this season, if you take all of his minutes combined, which is incredible. It shows just how much of a positive impact he's having when he's out there. He's not scoring, he's not getting a lot of points, but what he's doing is when he's on the ice with Draisaitl and whoever is on that right wing, sometimes it's Connor Brown, sometimes it's Skinner, sometimes it's been Janmark this season. Whenever Podkolzin is on the ice, the Oilers are pushing play very, very hard into the offensive zone, and they are very rarely having to play defense. Podkolzin is a big part of that. He wins a ton of board battles. He's very physical, and he's also been using his speed as well. So that's real good. We love Podkolzin. I'd love to see him score at least one tonight against Vegas. That would make me very happy. For the third line, we'll have Matthias Janmark with Adam Henrique and Jeff Skinner. Now, I was pretty hard on Jeff Skinner the other night. After he took that penalty in the first period against Minnesota, and then Minnie made it 2-1 late in that first, I put out a tweet, and I said, you know what? I think Jeff Skinner is dangerously close to healthy scratch territory for me. Well, of course, a lot of people don't see that tweet until after the game, sometimes the next day, and they don't pay attention to where and when that tweet was posted, the timestamp for it. So a lot of people were yelling at me, telling me he had a good game against Minnesota. I didn't know what I was talking about. Good thing I'm not the coach. Listen, I understand. After that first period, Jeff Skinner played very, very well. The second and third period, Jeff Skinner had some good looks. He utilized his skating, his speed. He got into a couple scoring areas, and he did play good. That third line overall, I liked their game a lot. I liked Jeff Skinner's game too. I did not like his play in that first period, and his bad penalty, whether you call it a weak penalty or not, doesn't matter. He took a penalty, and it led to a goal against, and it led to Minnesota momentarily getting back in that game. The Oilers were in full control, though, right from the beginning, so I wasn't too concerned. But for Jeff Skinner, do I want to see him with more minutes with either Draisaitl or McDavid? Yes. Do I think he's been given a fair shot with either of those players in that top six? No, because every time he seems to get ice time with either of those players, whether it's McDavid or Draisaitl, the team somehow gets scored against, and like the PDO when he's on the ice with McDavid and Draisaitl is like 0.8. It's so bad. The save percentage when he's on the ice with those two, it's not his fault that the team bleeds goals against when he's with McDavid or Draisaitl. But at the end of the day, you also need to carve your path and earn that opportunity. And when you look at that Oilers top six, who do you take off of the top six to play Jeff Skinner? Podkolzin has his role. Kapanen is starting to produce with Draisaitl. He has a couple goals now. Nugent Hopkins, he's played much better over the last few weeks. Zach Hyman, since he came back from injury, he is absolutely pouring it on in terms of offense. I don't know where you put Jeff Skinner at this point. Jeff Skinner has to find a way to play meaningful minutes on that third line unless there's an injury or until someone from the top six starts to struggle on the wing, and then you can bump him up, because all year Chris Knobloch has been being very fair with who plays with who. And the players who are going tend to find the ice time with the top two players in the league in McDavid and Draisaitl. So for Jeff Skinner, he just needs to stick with it. If he starts potting a couple of goals here, of course, we're going to see him back in that top six. I know for a fact that's going to happen. But for Jeff Skinner, I think we all want him to succeed. When I put out that tweet, that's not me saying that I dislike or hate the player. In fact, on the contrary, I absolutely love Jeff Skinner. I just want to see a little bit more from him before he gets back into the top six there. And then on the fourth line, we're going to have Corey Perry, Derek Ryan, and Connor Brown. Likely, of course, unless the team goes 11-7. I'm not sure who they would end up scratching. Likely Derek Ryan. However, Derek Ryan did score his first goal of the season against Minnesota, and the team was very happy for him. And I was very happy for him. We love Derek Ryan, but I don't think anyone in the entire world was happier than Waz from Oilers Nation. That guy, find someone who loves you as much as Waz loves Derek Ryan in your life. Seriously, it's wholesome. It's heartwarming. I absolutely love it. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. That is assuming Bouchard is able to go. If he is not, we'll likely see Stetcher bumped up, and then Emberson bumped up with Nurse, and then Brown with Kulak. We'll see what the defensive pairings look like. I really hope Bouchard is okay to go, though. Nurse with Stetcher, Kulak, Emberson, and then Josh Brown, of course, likely dresses no matter what, even if Bouchard might go. So I see Josh Brown at least in the pregame warmups, because Bouchard might be testing whether it's his leg or his shoulder or his ribs. I don't actually know what the injury was. It was tough to tell. I saw a lot of Oilers fans too complaining about Hartman's hit on Bouchard, saying that it should have been a suspension. And I was like, okay, I don't think so. I think Ryan Hartman is a dirty, nasty player, and I really, really dislike him. To me, that looked like a player that was trying to get body position for what he assumed was going to be a puck battle. Bouchard was not braced for any kind of hit there. I think at most that's a 2-minute penalty for interference, but there are so many moments in hockey games where players bump into each other for body position and nobody falls and gets hurt. And it's unfortunate what happened to Bouchard. It was in garbage time. The team was up by 5 goals at that point. They hadn't scored the 7th yet, I don't think. But either way, for Hartman, obviously, you got to be a little bit more aware. And also, Hartman is a piece of crap. Do I think he meant to injure Bouchard? No, I don't. And that is a pretty crazy thing to say, considering Hartman's, if you look at Hartman's like suspension and fine history with the league over the last like 2 years, it's terrible. Like, he does have a history, so it's hard to give players like that the benefit of the doubt. To me, the way I saw it, and I didn't even talk about it in my post-game fan reaction because I actually didn't think it was that big of a deal. I had a lot of Oilers fans be like, hey, you should mention this, so I'm going to mention it. My own thoughts, I don't think it was a suspension, probably a 2-minute minor for interference, and I think the result was very unfortunate. In goal, we're going to have Stuart Skinner, and of course, Calvin Pickard will likely back up Stuart Skinner tonight. Let's get into the game day predictions, the stats, and the facts here. So, the Vegas Golden Knights, they are 19-7-3 this season. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. They are just as hot as the Oilers. In fact, maybe even just a little bit more hot than Edmonton. Their expected goals for this season at 5-on-5 in the NHL ranks 23rd at 48.20%. Their power play, red hot, ranks 5th in the league at 27%. Their penalty kill, so-so, pretty okay penalty kill, 79.7%, which ranks 18th. However, the power play and penalty kill did not even matter in the last matchup between these two teams because there were no penalties called. So don't expect to see a lot of penalties called in this one either. It seems like the officials, when these two teams play each other, just let it go. It's a playoff type game. Don't expect a lot of power plays tonight here in Edmonton. Vegas, they have a terrific offense. They score 3.48 goals per game, which ranks 6th best in the league. They give up 2.86 goals against per game, which ranks 9th best. Their goals against is actually starting to come down. It was pretty high earlier in the season, and they had a couple stinkers, like that game against Utah where they were completely blown out. But for the most part, Vegas's goaltending is starting to short itself out, and they have good defensemen, so this is going to be a tough matchup for the Oilers. Vegas's possession metrics here, Corsi for percentage ranks 25th in the league, 47.52%. However, actual shots percentage, the shots on goal, shots for, ranks 12th at 51%. So a lot of teams, whenever Vegas is playing them, they give up a lot more shot attempts against their own goal. However, they still, more often than not, they are able to outshoot their opponent with actual shots because, like I mentioned, the Vegas Golden Knights, bit of a scouting report on them. They are opportunistic. They have specific areas that they like to shoot from, and they will make you pay if they are able to break down the defense a little bit and find themselves in their high danger areas or the areas of the ice that they want to get to. A lot of teams, especially like Edmonton, they throw the puck from a lot of different areas, a lot of low danger opportunities, but the Oilers also do lead the league in high danger chances for. So Aiden Hill, if he's in net for Vegas, he's going to have to be on his game, but he likely does show up once again against the Oilers. Once again, I don't know what I'm saying. The Oilers, they are 17-10-2 on the season. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10 games. Expected goals for ranks 4th in the league at 54.30%. The Oilers power play continues to climb up the league standings here, 21.6%, which ranks 14th best in the NHL. The power play is starting to really turn it up now. Really good to see. They had 2 power play goals against Minnesota. If they get a power play against Vegas, and that's if they get 1 power play, you got to make it count. Penalty kill ranks 27th, 72.9%. Goals for per game ranks 13th at 3.14 goals per game. Goals against per game, 2.79, which ranks 8th best in the league. The Oilers' goals against is completely plummeting here, which is such a good sign. Defensively, the Oilers are very, very stingy. They are They will sometimes bore you with how they play defense. And for Chris Knobloch, he has everybody bought in right now. They are suffocating. They do not give you anything. And the Oilers have been able to neutralize a lot of the NHL's top offensive teams over the last couple of weeks. Colorado was one of them. Vegas, they only held to 1 goal. Tampa Bay, they only held to 1 goal. So for the Oilers, they just have to continue to stick with it defensively. And I have no doubt that they'll find a way to win this game tonight. Corsi 4 ranks second in the league, 54.75%, and shots for percentage ranks second, 55.47%. My players to watch: Shea Theodore, and Brett Kulak. Now, Shea Theodore is my player to watch for Vegas. He has 6 points in his last 5 games. He has been their number one D for the last few weeks here. Shea Theodore, in general, very good player. I felt every time he was on the ice against Edmonton in that 1-0 win from a week and a half ago, Shea Theodore was a big piece of why the Vegas Golden Knights were able to win that game. He's not on the ice for a lot of high danger chances against. He's a great skater. He can get pucks towards the goal, and he has been playing real good hockey for Vegas as of late. And for the Edmonton Oilers, I'm going with Brett Kulak because of Evan Bouchard is injured. Brett Kulak likely has to take a ton of minutes to make up for that loss. And Brett Kulak, he played the most amount of minutes against the Minnesota Wild. Brett Kulak's season has been phenomenal defensively this season, and he's been able to chip in on offense with 5 goals. Brett Kulak, we love to see it. The 2 defensemen here on the Vegas Golden Knights and Edmonton Oilers, those are my players to watch. And my score prediction, I'm going to go 3-2 Edmonton tonight. I'm feeling good about this one. I like Edmonton's chances. Yes, it's a matinee game. Historically, the Oilers don't do very well in matinee matchups, but I think they are due for a win against Vegas. Vegas is 2-0 against Edmonton this season, and if Edmonton wants any chance of winning this division here in the Pacific, they have to find a way to win this game in regulation. They cannot afford to give up another 4-point game to the Vegas Golden Knights, because at that point, it's going to be very difficult to win the division if that's what Edmonton is trying to do, because of the tiebreakers and that sort of thing. Thank you all so much for watching today's pregame report. I hope you enjoy the game today. I am working throughout the entire matchup, so I will not be back until the postgame reaction, which will be at like 9 p.m. Mountain. So the game is going to be over. Don't expect my postgame reaction until about 9 p.m. tonight, and then I'm hoping to have a day after discussion tomorrow. I am off tomorrow, so I look forward to that, Oil Country. Thank you for your continued support. It means the world. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you are not yet subscribed to the channel. And of course, always fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Tell someone that you love them. We'll see you next time, Oil Country. Take care.